Hello, welcome to my channel, To and Fro. Today I'm going to be doing a love reading for the collective. It's going to be oracle led and a 3-card spread, and then I'm just going to clarify. All right, let's get started. All right, Spirit, what messages do we have for the collective? What love messages, Spirit, do we have for the collective? One more. All right, Spirit, what love messages do we have for the collective tonight? All right, this is one card, please. Oh, there we go. We have mistakes, misunderstood, victim, lost soul. All right, what else? Whoa, okay. There's our 3. Oh, wow. Okay, we have twin flames, mirroring, shared feelings, reflection. And we have distracted, sidetrack, change, delays. And wow, yeah. This is basically a twin flame reading. All right. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have foundation. Established family security. Okie dokie. So just right off the bat, I believe the twin flame, not the twin flame, the divine masculine. Because I'm seeing here at the bottom of the deck, this is a father figure with their son. It's a masculine, obviously with their kid, with their son. And it says foundation. And that's at the top of the deck. It says the overall energy. I feel like the divine masculine is, it seems like a somewhat of a follow-up from my last reading where they felt that they made a mistake, made a wrong decision. This is telling me mistakes, misunderstood, victim, lost soul. And they're basically saying that they made a mistake due to being a lost soul, being misunderstood. I would even go so far as to say like they themselves lack a solid foundation. So the way they've been navigating life, relationships, they're just not making the best decisions. They are mirroring you, divine feminine. They have shared feelings. So if you're thinking that they don't care or that they don't feel anything, that they're just moving on and living their life and everything's just amazing for them, and they're not even concerned about you, divine feminine, or the twin flame journey, or they're not being impacted in some way negatively. That's not the case. It's not true. It says here reflection as well. So They are your reflection. And I feel that they are reflecting on this journey and just their life leading up to this point. They are distracted. I mean, we're going to clarify these, so I'm just getting a feel for these cards as they are before clarifying. Sometimes the oracle cards may read one way, and then when you start to clarify, it actually is like the opposite. But just from this card alone, I'm getting that they are sidetracked. They may be a bit delayed on their twin flame journey, you know, on their end. And I'm feeling this foundation card. It's the feeling that I get from it is that the divine masculine desires a solid foundation. They want to be more established. They want to have a family, more security. This could very well be a divine masculine that already has kids outside of you, divine feminine. And this is something that maybe they themselves, they lack, but they want to provide a foundation for the kids they have now, as well as maybe, you know, hoping that they'll be able to reunite with you. And everybody's twin flame journey is different, but you know, not every twin flame is meant to have kids together. But if this is for you, if this is your reading, this may very well be that, you know, this divine masculine, they want to provide a solid foundation for their current kids, as well as the future kids that they intend on having with you. So yeah, anywho, let's go ahead and clarify each card. All right, Spirit, please clarify mistakes. One more. All right, clarify mistakes, please, Spirit. Clarify mistakes. Whoa, okay. We have Page of Cups. Five of Wands reverse. One more for mistakes, please, Spirit. Ooh. Oh, okay. This is very much, this is coming out sideways, but I'm going to put it upright. Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Page of Cups could also mean like apology. And the Emperor coming out sideways is giving a feeling of clarified twin flames. I'm going to try to get all the cards out first, and then we'll like, so for twin flames, clarified twin flames, please. Clarified twin flames, please, Spirit. Ooh. Three of Swords reverse. Five of Wands reverse again. So that's significant. Clarify twin flames, please, Spirit. Clarify twin flames. Clarify twin flames, please. Clarify twin flames. Judgment. Upright. And we have Page of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Okay. Clarify distracted. Clarify distracted, Spirit. Clarify distracted. Wheel of Fortune reversed. And we have Seven of Wands reverse. Clarify distracted one more, please. We have the Hermit reverse. Two of Wands upright. Okay. Foundation. Four of Pentacles upright. One more for foundation, please, Spirit. Three of Cups reverse. And we have King of Pentacles reverse. Put this over here. Alrighty. So, clarifying mistakes, we have Page of Cups, Emperor. A misunderstood, victim, lost soul. So if we recall, the Emperor came out sideways. So that kind of gives a feeling that this masculine is, I would say, I don't want to say midway, but there is, I would say probably like mid-transition, you know, like they're in between. They're probably doing the work that they need to do in order to become this emperor. But as we have here, distracted. So there's a bit of a delay here. So that's why the emperor was coming out sideways. Like they know what they need to do. They're on the twin flame journey, the spiritual journey, but there's some delays, you know, they are not charging forward. It seems like, as I like to describe it, maybe they're taking, you know, 5 steps forward and then 3 steps back, maybe. You know, it's not like they're going forward and then, you know, 5 steps forward, 10 steps back. It's not from a lack of trying. They are moving forward. They are doing the work. But along the way, they do get distracted. They get sidetracked for whatever reason, which we'll obviously discuss. They are feeling apologetic. So, I mean, this is the Page of Cups. They are feeling apologetic. So I feel that this is them finally maybe like seeing their part in the breakdown of this situation, of this relationship, this twin flame connection, I should say. So they are taking accountability. They do feel sorry, and they want to apologize to you, Divine Feminine. They realize that they've made a mistake. So, but I will say I'm not too crazy about the words describing this, you know, mistakes, victim, lost soul. Because when I hear those words, I kind of do feel that maybe, and maybe that's why the emperor is coming out, the emperor was coming out sideways, because maybe they don't fully get it. Like they're still kind of making excuses for what they've done, rejecting the divine feminine, you know. So, you know, it's like saying sorry, but then following it up with a bunch of excuses as for why they did what they did. So it's almost like they want to, you know, they just want you to forgive them and not really hold their feet to the fire in a way, you know? So I don't know. But yes, they are admitting, if not to you, but they are admitting to themselves that they've made a mistake by rejecting the divine feminine. So now we have twin flames clarified by the reverse Three of Swords and Judgment. So that's like, whew, that's some pretty heavy energy here. This tells me that obviously they're awakened, they're waking up, and with this Three of Swords, I'm getting that they're ready. They're ready to surrender. I believe they've been fighting this, but now they're realizing that by fighting this, they're not getting anywhere fast. They're not winning. They're not, it's like this, I'm also getting like, it's like the feeling won't go away. You know, if they are, this obviously sounds like a twin flame connection that is in separation. And maybe they have tried, with this distracted, I'm now sort of getting this idea that they've tried to distract themselves. They've tried to forget you. They try to forget this connection. They've tried to just move on and have total disregard for this twin flame connection, the journey, everything. They probably just, you know, they met you, divine feminine, and then when you guys went your separate ways, they figured that they would just carry on with their life the way that they have been, and that they don't have to acknowledge this at all. And they are spirit is proving them wrong. Spirit, this Judgment card, they have no choice but to acknowledge this connection, and it is what it is. Like, so by trying to ignore this connection, they have only been experiencing pain and heartache, sorrow, trauma, grief. Basically, they've been experiencing the Three of Swords upright. So now that they are surrendering to their awakening, to the connection with you, divine feminine, now they're able to release this pain. That's why the Three of Swords is reversed. You know, they are seeing the error of their ways. They're asking for forgiveness. If they're not in contact with you just yet, they are asking for forgiveness from spirit. You know, maybe the awakening is really like them getting in touch with their spiritual side, acknowledging spirit. So yeah, they're ready. They're ready to, and what I see, some of the terms on this Three of Swords reverse, it has self-love. emotional and physical healing, apologies. They're waking up and they are surrendering to the journey, surrendering to, their feelings, spirituality. They're acknowledging that maybe this was a masculine that was not spiritual, not, you don't have to be religious, but they were just not spiritual really by any means. They were all just very 3D in their head. Everything, is just logical. Just, they're not even acknowledging their feelings. They're not acknowledging spirituality. And that was it. But now they're waking up. They're realizing that there's so much more to the physical than just their physical being. That they are a spiritual being. They're acknowledging that and surrendering to this truth. Okay, so now for distracted, we have here sidetrack, change, delays, and that is being clarified by the Wheel of Fortune reverse and the Hermit reverse. So yeah, as I was saying before, they're on the twin flame journey. They're on the spiritual journey. They're awakened. I'm also hearing that they're atoning. Maybe there's like some, I don't know, like some karmic debt, or like even they're currently dealing with the karmic, and they're just, like I said, they've made a mistake. They're acknowledging that now. They want to heal. I feel like even this apology, it's almost like they're apologizing to themselves. Like they realize now they didn't have to do this. They didn't have to go through this, as far as the karmic path. They were, rejecting the divine feminine, but now they're feeling sorry about that. But while they're on this twin flame journey, they are at times distracted. Like I said before, it's not like they're just charging forward. It's maybe that they do some work and then, and then they kind of regress, maybe go back to their old ways or what have you. Yeah, so this Wheel of Fortune, it says here, clinging to control, stuck in old karmic cycles, resistance to change. So yeah, there's a part of them that is they're surrendering, but they're not surrendering all the way. That saying, old habits die hard, right? So that's what this masculine is basically experiencing. They're resistant. There's some, and then this is also like the Wheel of Fortune could also mean like there's external negative forces, but there's also internal negative forces as well. So it's making me think of like climbing a mountain. This is obviously, this firsthand, divine feminine, that this journey is not easy. So this is an uphill battle for this masculine as well. Probably even more so, being that they were not particularly a spiritual person. So their mind is still, their ego is still at play here. And they are somewhat, with this Wheel of Fortune reverse, they are somewhat fighting it. you know, at times and maybe they have their, you know, and what I'm getting with the Hermit reverse, it's like they have their days. The Hermit could also be this sort of because Hermit reverse, it's isolation, it's depression, it's withdrawing, but in a more kind of negative way, you know, because the Hermit is actually, it's a good thing, you know. You go within yourself and you really start to reflect, and you know, there's self introspection and whatnot. But when it's reversed, it means that you're going to a deep dark place, and you might be there just a little too much, too long. You know, like you find yourself in a deep dark place and you're finding it very difficult to pull yourself out of it. So that's, you know, basically I'm describing here depression, dark night of the soul. You know, it's very difficult for this masculine right now. And this is contributing to them being sidetracked and delayed. It's like they don't have, as I was saying before, they may have their days, you know, like there's days when they're up for the challenge and they're, you know, they're doing the work, but then there's probably more days than they would like to admit. There's days when they want to give up, or you know, they maybe it's their environment. It's also even their personality. This is something with the ego death. It's difficult for them to just, you know, nobody changes overnight. You know, they've been in this sort of, I don't know, like distorted masculine low vibrational energy for so long, maybe their entire lives. You know, it's very difficult for them to just up and change for the better, even though it is for the better, and they want better, they want more for themselves. This is proving to be very difficult, very challenging for them. Okay. And then, so I feel the ultimate goal is that they want to have a solid foundation. So this makes me think of the Tower, you know? So they are on board for this, for the old Tower. They're surrendering. They're realizing, okay, yes, you know, maybe the direction that I've been going in, the path that I've been on is not working. You know, I'm not achieving goals, you know, the things, relationships, you know, the lifestyle, the things that, you know, that I do want. So yeah, so this is being clarified by, I kind of lost my train of thought there, sorry. But but the thing is, they want a solid foundation for themselves, is basically what I'm saying. But to get there is proving to be a lot, very challenging. Foundation is being clarified by Four of Pentacles and Three of Cups. As I was saying before, old habits die hard. So I kind of feel like this Four of Pentacles is sort of them holding on, because it's three of Cups reverse is it could be third-party situations, independence. One of the things that, you know, I've been doing quite a few readings, and one of the things that I've noticed is, seems like this masculine, they're afraid of commitment. They are thinking that being loyal to one person, being in a relationship, means that they have to give up their autonomy, like completely. You know, like they're viewing love, they're viewing relationships as if it's like a prison sentence. You know, and that's not true. But maybe that's what, you know, and I don't know, this could stem from childhood. Maybe that's what they've seen, that's what they've experienced in past relationships. But they don't realize, Divine Feminine, that this connection with you, a relationship with you, would be vastly different from what they've experienced and what they've maybe have seen growing up, right? You guys are opposites. That's what twin flames are. So you two would actually be very different from what you're used to. You're not exactly, you know, each other's type, but, you know, in the 3D sense, in a superficial sense, but you are, you know, you guys are each other's person, and you guys would learn, teach so much if you guys were to come together. Not only would you be teaching each other, but even like your connection would teach others, would set an example of like what true love is. So yeah, I feel like this is, I don't know, clarifying foundation. It's almost like they're preventing themselves from, because right, they're distracted. They want to have this solid foundation, but they're delaying that by holding on to this sort of third party energy. You know, this 3 of Cups reverse can also, it represents like, I don't know, like it says over partying. So there could be a certain lifestyle. Yeah, that's just independence, third party situations, over partying. It's almost like they're just holding on to this. They're really having a difficult time letting this go. And that's preventing them from, you know, from fully accomplishing the spiritual journey and from having this solid foundation. They're having a difficult time letting go of their old ways. And like this sort of karmic path. It's not serving them, but you know, maybe this is just something that they're familiar with. And as I was saying with my last reading, this is very well a masculine that has a difficult time admitting when they're wrong, when they've made a mistake. So, you know, they're still very much in their ego, and they're still the same person. And you know, maybe they have days, like I said, they may wake up one day and it's like, yeah, okay, this is what I need to do. And they're embracing the spiritual journey. But then there's some days when they wake up and they're in this reverse hermit, feeling very down, feeling depressed, you know, feeling, you know, there's a side, there's just a battle within themselves that is happening. It makes me think of, you ever see in those movies when they have, you know, a person and then they have the angel and then the devil like on their shoulders. I remember like way back when, like watching like cartoons, and they would have that be a movie or cartoon or something, and there was always like the angel and the devil on the shoulders, and they're each telling them, you know, what to do, where to go, whatever. And it's like, you know, and they're just kind of back and forth. That's almost like their consciousness, like just going back and forth, you know. Do I do the good thing or the bad thing, you know? And this masculine is like, do I continue on in this, on the path that I'm on, this karmic path that I'm on? I mean, those are not the words they're using, but you know, the current path that they're on, that's obviously not working, or, you know, do they reverse course and, you know, embrace this spiritual journey, embrace, you know, a new way of being, a new way of thinking, making me think of the Page of Swords, by the way. I don't have that here, but I'm just saying. So anywho, oh, and then we have here the King of Pentacles reverse, Six of Cups reverse, the Sun reverse. Yeah, wow. So King of Pentacles reverse, there's something, this is also impacting their finances, being on this current path, this current karmic path. You know, as I said before, it's not serving them. Well, it's also not serving their finances. And this is a masculine that I feel like this spirit is essentially hitting them where it hurts. This is how spirit is getting this masculine's attention. He's hitting him where it hurts, which is his pockets. It's like, oh, okay, and you know, how am I gonna get you to get right and to see, get on the right path? Well, this masculine may very well be hurting financially. And that's the only way that spirit can pretty much wake them up and get through to them. Because as I was saying before, we have here the Four of Pentacles, Three of Cups reverse. They're holding on to their old ways, their old life, to this like third party energy, and they're delaying themselves. And then I see here we have the Six of Cups reverse, so this means that they're like stuck in the past. They don't want to let go. And more than likely, they don't want to let go of they're having a difficult time letting go of, I would say, a third party as a person, and also like a third party lifestyle. I don't know. Yeah, like lifestyle. Yeah. And then we have, and this is, like I said, not serving them. So we have the Sun reverse. So they're not even happy, but yet they keep getting distracted. They keep going down the wrong road, the wrong path. So, and this is not conducive to their growth. It's not even conducive to their financial growth. But they're getting the message now. And like I said, that's because spirit is finding a way to get that message to them, and that's through their pockets. All right, well, that is pretty much the reading. So I'm actually going to I'm going to pull 3 cards from my oracle. These are messages from the Divine Masculine to the Divine Feminine. So let's see what messages does the Divine Masculine, based off of this reading, what messages does the Divine Masculine have for the Divine Feminine? If they were to talk to you today, to speak to you today, what messages would they have for you, Divine Feminine, based off of this reading? We have here, I ran because I felt unworthy of your love. One day I'll explain everything. So, I mean, this is harmless in a way, but I'm sorry, I'm being a little harsh, but I kind of do feel like that kind of goes along with the mistakes where, you know, it's a bunch of excuses. But I could speak from personal experience. I do feel that the separation was absolutely necessary. So, it is, once again, it is what it is. What other messages does the divine masculine have for the divine feminine? We have here, I know I left you confused and hurting. I was hurting too, but I didn't have the words. Okay. So they're just basically telling you why they ran, why they rejected you, divine feminine. One more. I ran from you because we both had so much healing to do, which is so funny. That's exactly what I just said, right? I was saying that the separation was absolutely necessary. And that's because, you know, you both have healing to do. And that had to happen in separation. It was not going to happen while you guys are together. Because I do feel that this masculine was still, like I said, they're probably dealing with a third party. They're very much in this. It's making me think of like King of Wands, but we don't even need to mention the King of Wands. We have here the reverse King of Pentacles, right? So they're in this energy and they just were not going to be able to appreciate you, divine feminine, and treat you the way that you deserve. So they ran, and we have two cards here saying why they ran. So this is them really, I kind of feel, once again, I feel like this goes into, these cards are the cards that basically explain why they ran. It lines up with this Page of Cups and the reverse Three of Swords. This is them feeling very apologetic. If they were to speak to you today, they would be like, listen, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry, but this is why, you know? Like it says here, one day I'll explain everything. Okay. And then we have here at the bottom of the deck, I feel stuck and uninspired. So that right there lines up with them feeling distracted. This is probably why they're in this reverse hermit mode, because they're feeling stuck. They feel inspired. There are days when they feel like they can't go on. They're like, I can't do this. There are days when they want to give up. They're on this journey, just like you, divine feminine, and they're feeling, they have their days, basically, is what I'm saying. And it says here, for the Wheel of Fortune reverse, clinging to control. Right? And they're probably, that's why they feel stuck. They're trying, there's this resistance to change. And they're stuck in their old karmic cycles, right? There's this third party energy, lifestyle, person, old way of life. It's very difficult for this masculine to do what they need to do. I feel like they're like, I swear, like all these different cards pop in my head, but I'm thinking of the Knight of Pentacles. Like it's almost like they're inching forward, right? You can even say this King of Pentacles reverse might be that like Knight of Pentacles energy. You know, it's this sort of regression. Yeah, they're moving forward, but it's like it's such a slow pace. And we'll just do a couple more here. No one else touches my soul the way you do. You are the fire I can't put out no matter how hard I try. I mean, does that not describe the twin flame, the twin flame connection? You are the fire I can't put out, no matter how hard I try. So they have tried. Just know that, Divine Feminine. They have tried. They wanted to move on from you and just continue on their old path, their old ways, but Spirit is not letting them. Spirit is not letting them go. Another one, at first I didn't understand the depth of this connection. Every day apart has become a lesson in love, pain, and growth. Ooh, so that's it. All right, and I will close out the reading and leave it there. All right, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next reading. All right, bye.